Well, hello. Welcome to a special Christmas edition of
Uh,
Walking the Ground.
well, and ladies and gentlemen, hello. And as you can see, we're joined, aren't we, Jim, by the man, the other side of the camera, or one of the people the other side of the camera.
Yes, that makes it sound like I was actually holding the camera. I wasn't. I can't.
but-
The man who sort of effectively came up with the idea, I would say. I mean,
Up next, Hitler's secret superweapons.
Oh, I mean, it's Christmas. It's Christmas morning.
We sat down, didn't we? In fact, it was almost this time last year, or beginning of the year, sort of January, February time. And Jim said to me, I really want to do this walking the ground concept where we go to the battlefields and walk the ground. And I was so super excited by it, but we'll get into all of that. So what we thought we'd do as a Christmas special is just talk through where we've got to with the channel this year. We launched the channel at the end of August at the We Have Ways Fest. It went down very, very well. Since then, we put out two seasons. So we put out our season on Normandy, and we put out our season, or it's still going out, our season on Arnhem. One of our most, I suppose, most viewed and popular videos, you'd be unsurprised to learn that it's obviously to do with tanks, but it was the one where you both rode on a tank. I think it was the 30 Corps riding a Sherman to Nijmegen.
Oh my God, look at it. Yeah, but okay, it's still amazing, isn't it? It's completely amazing, Jim.
We thought we cracked it. We thought here at Walking the Ground Studios, we thought we've done it. We've cracked it. We're geniuses. We've done it. It's all to do with tanks, and then suddenly there was a. Do you think the fact that we put 30 Corps in the? Yeah, it's 30 Corps. It's the armored column. It's 30 Corps. Yeah, it's just that if you put XXX into a search bar, what happens then? Oh, realised that. Yes, it was getting a lot of hits because people were searching for other things. Anyway,
and apparently in
the
India.
Video, in India.
Thing is, though, there's a lot of historiographical debate about how you should write 30 Corps. There's some people who say it should be the Arabic numerals, others say the Latin numerals, and now we've definitively proved which it should be.
Yes. It's still a fabulous episode and was much liked. There have only actually been...
Most people didn't watch it all the way to the end.
Yeah. It's just two blokes on a tank.
Yeah,
and
try some big long
stiff
things, but there's a tank barrel, not the other thing.
It ain't working for me. Yeah.
Insert your innuendo here.
Yes, exactly.
And we've nearly hit. We're just about to hit 31,000 subscribers, which is pretty astonishing. Since
that is really good.
We only just started really going in September, so we just wanted to say a huge thank you to everyone who's subscribed. If you haven't already, just give us a nice little early Christmas gift and hit subscribe. It's that easy.
One click.
What else is there to say? Oh, yes. Lots of lovely comments too, and we do read them all here. So wonderful. And all we wanted to say, I think, was just keep those comments coming in because they're fabulous.
I mean, what's really interesting, Ben, about this way of making a thing is, in the old days, you'd write to the Radio Times, wouldn't you, and say, I'd like to congratulate everyone involved in Poldark for a marvellous
Yes. You get letters in. Well, it was
that was
Wogan.
The extent of it.
Wogan would have to read it out on points of view.
That's right.
But what's lovely is you just get it instantaneously from a video. Yeah. It is. Here we are, just three chaps in our Christmas tank tops, talking about YouTube like we've come up with a concept. We haven't, the kids have, but it is a brilliant way of making content. I'd never been to the Normandy battlegrounds, to the any of the beaches. And I thought to myself, I will go, but I'd love to go with someone who knew what they're talking about. Turns out it's you guys, and it was a real treat. And I got to see so many things that I never would have found myself. So I just wanted to say thank you for that. But for you guys, what is the what have you learnt from that experience? What made you realise again that walking the ground is important?
Well, I mean, Jim's a sort of past master of it. So I mean, I've done a bit, but to actually really sort of really take it on as a thing to think about and to experience. I mean, and I think experience is the word. When you walk up a hill that you've read about, and you realise what you can see from where you are, who must be able to see you, how far away the guns must be that can deal with you, and all those things. It just starts to. What it does is it colours in the picture, the black and white picture that you might have from your reading, or the stories you've looked at, and all that sort of stuff. And it starts to shade and colour in. And there've been two moments in particular, aside from the donkey Eeyoring in Jim's face.
You know, every single. Exactly.
Which was
That was wonderful. Yes,
my top moment in the
was like a mortar round going off his feet.
Exactly.
if Jim had a rifle, it would have gone off at that stage.
Absolutely.
He would have.
He'd have shot the sorry GI in front of him.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't mean to. I just, you know,
It was a donkey.
It was a donkey, and it just went off in my hand.
You're a donkey, Holland. Get to the back.
Oh God.
But no, seriously, and it's really the hills. It's the gradients. On our first trip to Normandy, standing at the top of the Breville Ridge.
The thing is, though, if you are the Germans, you absolutely do not want to give this up, because you know, this offers you basically shelling rights of everything in that direction
and observation rights.
Exactly.
Which is where the Black Watch made their attack across to try and close the Breville Gap, and where nine para are holed up, and the having seen pictures of that so many times and standing there and seeing how you can see right down onto Sword, and you can see the high ground the other side, and you can see all the way down into the villages and all the way up to Colombelle. It just it says, right here I almost feel you should walk the ground and then read the books, and maybe you understand them better. That's the way round to see it. And the other hill that I probably think about every day now is the gradient up with the St. Elizabeth Hospital on your left as you're going in Arnhem, when you're going up that hill up to where the embankment falls away down to the river.
But the problem is, with that, is there is the St. Elizabeth Hospital at the end of this block.
There it is.
Which, of course, you can't occupy, you can't defend, you can't fight through. So you've got to work your way around that one way or another.
Just the challenge that presented the men who was there, and the problem that just that one hill, that one narrow street going up a hill, and how it's quite a gradient and all that, the problems that presents. And once you stand there, you know more about the Battle of Arnhem and how it pans out, how it turned out, than you will from reading any book, I think. Although there is one book I would recommend people read about the Battle of Arnhem.
Yes, it's on my shelf. I don't know. It is just here, and well, okay. So, Jim, what? Yeah, Jim, what about you? Because you came to me and said you wanted to do this, and we were, you know, I pitch TV shows, albeit of a different nature, but I know how hard it is to pitch an idea, and I think you've been sort of mentioning this for a long time, and there's not been anything on terrestrial TV. I'm going to call it terrestrial TV, sort of, you know, standard
telly,
TV, not streaming.
telly,
old telly. Yeah. Now on BBC One, that telly.
Yes.
For a long time. In fact, I remember it used to be War Walks, didn't it? Which I
Yes, Richard
was
Holmes,
fascinated
the
by.
legend that is,
the legendary,
the legend that
Richard
was, sadly.
Holmes. But what's what's the significance for you? You've always talked about the importance of it. So just remind us about it again, because
it came to me very early. I think in life one constantly comes across various aha moments where you suddenly go aha, and you realise that
yes,
aha, no, not aha, aha.
oh,
And my aha moment,
yes,
a very early one in my my wartime writing career, came when I was doing my first book, and I was writing about the siege of Malta in the war, and I'd never been to Malta, but before I had finished writing the book proposal, basically I came up with this idea. I'd been to interview Jeff Wellham, the fighter pilot,
yes,
who at the time wasn't famous at all. No one had known because his book hadn't come out.
but it's a fabulous book. Hugely
well,
recommend
yes.
that book.
Yes, I completely recommend that book. Anyway, so I've been talking to him in a pub in Cornwall. So here is picking up my pint of beer. Here's me and my spit. Here's this ME. I'm here, and it's like, just bottle that up. That's exactly that's what I want from a
toilet for a second. Oh God.
Yeah, I mean, all you want. But anyway, but Jeff had been in Malta, and I thought, gosh, I don't know anything about that. I knew about Faith, Hope and Charity. I'd heard of that. These biplanes that had saved Malta in 1940. I knew it got the George Cross, but otherwise I knew absolutely nothing. This is very much at the start of my World War II journey. And so anyway, I said to my agent at the time, I said, so what do you think about me doing a non-fiction book on the Siege of Malta? And he said, it's a great idea. Go away and write proposals. So I got very carried away, went and interviewed lots of veterans, wrote this incredibly lengthy outline, cut a long story short, got a deal, then had to suddenly start doing proper research. And I remember my first time I went to Malta, I'd seen lots of pictures of Grand Harbour, I'd seen lots of pictures of the bastions, but they were all in black and white because they were wartime photographs. I hadn't really bothered to look at kind of sort of tourist Malta websites or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I got into Malta. Flew into Lucca as it had been, the wartime airfield, now the Malta International. And it was late afternoon, and it was getting dark by the time I got into Valletta, the capital. And I dumped my stuff off at where I was staying, and then went straight to the Upper Baracca Gardens.
Yes.
And looked out, and I got to the edge of the Upper Baracca Gardens, and then there it was. There was Grand Harbour, and there were the three cities.
Yeah.
And suddenly it all made sense. I could just see the scale of it, how it all fitted together. And do you know what I went to myself? I said, aha.
Wonderful.
Aha. That's how it all fits together. That's the Grand Harbour, is it? And since then, my wartime writing career and broadcasting career has been littered with various other aha moments, where most of them have come from walking the ground, and it's seeing the landscape. And Al and I have talked. Al's just sort of made the point now about high ground and hills and everything. You know, when you're in Alamein, people are talking about, and then we got onto the high ground of the Ruwaiset Ridge, and I've been to Alamein, and it's the most amazing place. One for the future, maybe. But trust me, Ruwaiset Ridge is not what you and I would consider high ground. In fact, you don't even know you're on the Ruwaiset Ridge until you're on the top of it, and suddenly you can see a little bit further than you could 50 yards earlier when you weren't on the top of the Ruwaiset Ridge. It's literally 30 foot high over a very, very long period. Yeah. Whereas obviously high ground in Italy is it's 3,000 foot. It's getting the scale of it, the sense of it, and how it all fits together. And once you see the landscape, a lot of what you've been reading and being described about and the arguments about it suddenly start to make sense or don't make sense. In the case of Mark Clark's attack on Rome, for example, suddenly you can see why he made the decision he did in a way that you can't if you're just reading about it.
Sure.
Because you're looking at the landscape. And I just think it's really, really important. You can't really understand what's going on until you see how everything fits together, the scale, the sense of it. You know, when you're standing on WN60, that strong point, and you can see the whole length of Omaha Beach, you go, right, I get it. You go,
Which is a lot.
Look at that, though.
I know. That's it.
Bloody hell.
I know. Yeah, it's quite something, isn't it?
Al,
and obviously doing it with friends is just you know, I mean.
Oh, it's just it is delightful, and it is it's like we're going on a just a very cheeky weekend away. But it's not just sitting in pubs and shouting at each other. It's
a holiday with a purpose.
It's walking around.
It isn't a holiday when I get home. We've been working awfully hard.
No. Of course, that's what I meant.
It's extremely busy,
striving to put bread on the table.
Scheduled, blah blah blah.
Yeah, schedules. Yeah. It's exhausting. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
Or you lock yourself out of your hotel room.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course.
And,
yes.
I mean that did happen.
But I felt in a very real way that brought us all closer together.
It certainly brought you and Al closer together.
Literally.
Jim, what is a highlight of that?
I don't know. I mean,
of both trips, I think that we've done so far.
I think I loved the Arnhem trip a lot. I mean, it was a shame you weren't there, so that was a negative.
That was a real shame.
And it wasn't as sunny. Whereas there was something kind of just so perfect about Normandy because the sun was out a lot of it, and it was gorgeous. I mean, that day we did the airborne stuff. I've got to say, I really enjoyed the Sergeant Harrison Summers.
Oh yeah, yes. So that's it, isn't it?
That is it.
Raised bank, with a hedge on top, and an open field. So that's the. My goodness me!
Isn't that exciting?
It is exciting.
And okay, so we might have got our orientation a bit wrong. I'm still not convinced about that, by the way.
Nor am I, actually.
actually.
Nor am I.
Yeah. Well, the debate.
But I absolutely loved that. The sun was out. It was so exciting to do something for the first time.
Yeah.
And to kind of piece together. And I just love that investigative stuff where you're really trying to make sense of a landscape. And it has happened from time to time where you've been there and you suddenly go, okay, so this was there. And you suddenly realise that accounts are contradictory and that recollections may vary. And that's all part of the fun, because then you have to cut through what is the most likely scenario, and the most likely scenario is the scenario which is most likely. And I mean, I know it sounds obvious, but it really, really is. And that was brilliant. And then we had that amazing picnic afterwards, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yes, it was lovely.
Little. We pulled the car up. The tractor kept going past. I kept wondering whether my wing was going to get dinged, but it didn't. And we pulled in. We were really polished at our tea making by that point.
Yes, this is basic fieldcraft, live on the land soldiering that you're seeing here, ladies and gentlemen. James, of course, has written extensively about this sort of stuff, endless volumes. And here he is putting some of his theories into practice.
And and it was absolutely
that was wonderful.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
That was really wonderful.
Although I'm not going to lie, going on the tank was fun.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I did very much enjoy the fieldcraft moments, mainly because we as gentlemen of a certain age, we think we got all this stuff covered.
I was a Boy Scout, I could do
and all the wonderful comments about don't light a hexie. Like, how on earth have you got hold of a hexie? But I didn't even realise they were banned.
Yeah. Well, the thing is,
apparently.
I took some on the ferry with me, and when we got to the metal detector,
they got confiscated.
Well, no, I said I've got these. Can I take them? And they went, well, we don't really know what that is, so we better put it in the bin, right? And of course, you're not allowed. You're not allowed it, right? No. At all. So luckily, the ferry didn't. They weren't up on the law. Well, I might have got nicked even, Anyway, modern world where you can't even take extremely flammable materials on a ferry anymore.
What are they like?
It's extraordinary.
Here's a question: if say a fabulously wealthy sponsor came along and said, "I want you guys to keep doing this for a good few years," which ground would you like to walk the most?
Peleliu.
Grammatically, yeah.
Peleliu. What do you reckon, Jim? Peleliu?
Yeah, Peleliu.
Go out to the Pacific. Go to one
that
of
would
those.
Incredible.
one of those battlefields, because that's very, again, it's one of those. I mean, it's an interesting battle because it's small. The space is small. It's contained.
Yeah.
You in theory, you can walk from end to end of it in no time at all. But
most of the islands. What I learned very recently was the thinking was we've just got to take this. We just got to take patches of ground, and the only way to do it is to island hop and take all those patches of ground.
Yeah. It's all about air.
And so there must be
exactly.
Yeah. So there must be islands now that are pretty much untouched.
Well, I think Peleliu is the best preserved single best preserved battlefield from the Second World War anywhere in the world.
Right.
And so although I have to say, Guadalcanal is not bad. I mean,
right.
That's a pretty decisive and important battle. It's comparatively easy to get to compared to Peleliu. There is loads to see. I mean, literally loads to see.
Yeah,
the debris about the place is astonishing.
I mean, have you been to Okinawa, Jim?
No.
See, Okinawa, Iwo Jima. There, because those battles are so important in how the war turns out in its last phase. It make people lots of decisions are made because of what happens in Okinawa.
Yeah,
I'm just writing down here.
I don't know. But on the other hand, if we were going to go a little bit closer to home, I mean, what's not to like about Malta?
Yeah.
What's not to like about any part of Italy?
Yeah.
What's not to like about any part of Sicily? I mean,
Berchtesgaden,
Nazis on the hill,
Cassel, the pocket, the line outside Cassel and Hasbrook. Where my grandfather was fighting.
Yeah,
that'd be really interesting to do. Yeah.
I've written down Japan Pacific 2028. Just I put that in there. So don't. It's fine. Okay, so we've got a little time left, and I wanted to ask you first of all, wish you a very happy Christmas. And
thanks,
I'm noticing these wonderful tank tops and Christmas jumpers. Jim, care to talk me through yours? I mean, this old thing. This is something I got a few years ago.
Yours is Heroes at Telemart, right? That's Santa skiing to a heavy water plant, surely.
Of course it is. Yes, of course. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly.
So a package arrived in the post, and Al suddenly said, "Has a package arrived for you today?" And I went, "No." And then I looked again and realised that it had, and opened it up, and it was a gift from my great friend and collaborator, Al Murray. And obviously,
that's wonderful. And I
was absolutely delighted.
It's
with
from
its
the
choice colours
museum,
of shades of brown.
Yeah,
it's from the
tank. It's from the tank museum. It's an actual tank top. Al, you've obviously you've got
this
your.
This is my Arnhem. Basically, Jim's 30 Corps. As you can see, Jim's 30 Corps, and I'm 1st Airborne, and as you can see, we're miles apart from one another.
If you just stand up so I can see what's on the bottom of that jumper, it's fabulous. You've got
my
the bridge.
camera,
camera's following you.
Hang on, let me zoom out. That's what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to zoom out. Okay.
I've got tanks.
Look at this.
And then
mine's doing the same.
Your camera's following you.
Yeah.
There's the bridge, and at the bottom, Al, Piets.
Piets.
There you go. I mean, absolutely fabulous. So over the Christmas period, I know it's been so busy this year. We're squeezing this in, but there will come a time when you're allowed to sit down on your sofa and watch the traditional, certainly in my household, Christmas war movie. My question to you both is, what is that war movie going to be?
Well, it's certainly not going to be Battle of the Bulge, which was awful.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you on that one.
Well, I think it's Where Eagles Dare, which is, after all, a Christmas story, isn't it? They break into the at dead of night. They break into the castle. They leave.
You mean
behind.
This film?
That film.
I have my vintage movie classics cinema retro special edition magazine, which my very good friend and co-writer Lawrence Rickard bought me for a birthday once, and I have to say I've read it cover to cover. Oh my God, he's actually got a schmizer.
This is the one that never runs out of ammunition.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
You can fire this, and it just keep firing forever.
Just keeps cycling forever.
Can I just ask, where on earth did you get it? That's just a replica, right? That's not a.
It is.
One
Yeah,
with the
it's
firing
a,
pin
it's a,
taken out.
it's a film prop. It's a film prop. It's
Film prop,
probably
good.
used in Where Eagles Dare.
Extraordinary.
Where'd you get that, Jim?
I can't remember. Honestly, I really can't remember. I most of the stuff I haven't bought, I got given. As I told Rachel.
Well, we, I'm sure there'll be a walking around special where we come around and basically go into your store cupboard and sift through all the objects and have a good natter about those.
His lockup is a sight to behold. The lockup.
The lockup.
The lockup. Yeah.
Jim, you favorite war film? Christmas war film?
Well,
do you sit down?
See, I love The Cruel Sea. I just think The Cruel Sea is absolutely amazing.
Coco's just coming up, sir.
Yeoman! Sir! Call up Vipers on RT, plain language. Say torpedo 15 miles astern. Aye, aye.
But I think if I was going to have one, which is my absolute favourite, is The Thin Red Line.
Sometimes I think it was just my imagination. Well, and you've seen things I never will.
Wow.
Which I just think is just totally amazing. And it has its detractors. Lots of people don't like it because...
Yeah, you like the arty bit in it, don't you, where he's going, what is it to be a man?
What is war?
What is war?
Why is man so cruel to man? But I like all that with a little bit of sort of foray playing in the background. But the battle depictions are absolutely spot on. You know, historically, you cannot fault it because a large part of it was filmed on Guadalcanal, and everyone in it is completely brilliant, and the action sequences are just spot on. And what it gets across, I think, as well as anything I've ever seen, and I include Saving Private Ryan in this, is what it's like to be in combat and just how completely terrifying it is.
Yeah.
It
exactly.
does it more vividly than any other. And it's just, you get the sense of the heat and the awfulness and the kind of total... I mean, why are they fighting on a kind of jungle-clad hill in the middle of an island in the middle of the South Pacific? If you just take a step back, that is absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
And it's just brilliant, and also it's got Hans Zimmer did the music, and it's just completely brilliant. The musical score is fantastic, and suddenly you go, oh, that's George Clooney. What? That's John Travolta. He's only in it for 1 minute, and so that's also quite fun. Whilst at the same time slightly detracting from it, but it's I think it's completely fabulous. In fact, actually, I'm going to watch that again over Christmas.
There you go. I'm glad that I've reminded you of that, and you can do it. I shall be watching Where Eagles Dare.
Right.
Hopefully,
also,
with one of my
Blitz I
boys.
enjoyed very much. Blitz has gone right up there. I thought that was great.
So I went. This is about tangential, but about Blitz. I went for lunch the other day with someone, and he said that his sons had been extras in Blitz, right?
All right.
Oh.
And that they then got talking to their nan, who remembered the Blitz about, was 8 or something when it happened, and she just suddenly starts telling stories that they never heard before in the family about living in Catford or somewhere at the height of the Blitz, amazing. And how she was one of 7, and one of the kids was sent away, was evacuated to Exeter, to Devon, and came back in 1945, went away when she was 3, came back when she was 9, basically, and said, "You're not my mum and dad, really. My mum and dad are Auntie Jean and Uncle Pat or whatever in Devon." Wow. And they said, "Go home then. Go back to the people that you think are your mum and dad."
And did she?
So she went back to Devon. They stayed in touch. But like, what a story, right?
That needs to be recorded.
What a thing. Yeah. And then one of the other boys, who was 12, ran away, got home, came back, and his dad went to cuff him round the ear, and the boy avoided him, fell in a bomb crater, and broke his leg, and so they couldn't. So the score was settled. He'd hurt himself. So just this amazing family story, just like suddenly from this movie, like these boys going, No, I still haven't had the chance. No.
Going for such a treat.
Oh, I'll watch that then.
Well, we'll catch up with that.
Well, so, I think I know what your favourite movie is. Then.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. Gentlemen, this is a story that you will tell your grandchildren, and mightily bored they'll be.
Yeah, well, obviously.
Yeah.
It might be a bridge too far. Thing is, I have made the family sit down and watch that a couple of times. I don't know if there's a third squeeze of that lemon. Now they've all read the book, though. They can all sit there going, "Oh, that's not quite right."
Just about 4:00 on Christmas Day.
Jack Hawkins being drunk in the club, just going, "It's just the bloody war.
It's the bloody war."
That's all there is to it.
So what would be lovely is if everyone who's watching this, obviously I have to say, like, subscribe, but we'd love to hear in the comments what your favourite war films are. I'd love to sift through that and the reasons why. The reason I like Where Eagles Dare so much is I just love watching a slightly drunk Richard Burton trying to climb up a wall.
Richard Burton and Clint Eastwood. Lieutenant, drop that gun. What? Drop that gun and sit down.
What the hell are you talking about?
Where Eagles Dare.
Just thinking, good heavens, I'm not sure this mission is going to go well.
Yes. And you can slightly see the sweat on his brow.
Into the window.
The alcoholic sweat on his brow, even though it's freezing cold and it's supposed to be
funny.
But
what a performance!
He never takes a drink in the film. So, like, apart from the beer, those beers in that tavern must be very, very strong.
Well, it's that great story from Darren Nesbitt about the fact that Mary Year was drinking schnapps. He was drinking water.
Yeah.
And of course, at We Have Ways, we got to meet the stuntman who worked on Where Eagles Dare, which was extraordinary stories. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for taking a tiny little time out of your Christmas shopping schedule to join us for this. I just wanted to wish you both a very Merry Christmas and
and to you, Ben.
And season's greetings, and
your
we'll
family.
catch up in the new year. Yeah.
Happy New Year, everyone. Merry Christmas.
Yo ho ho.
Big salute.
Carry on.
Carry on, everyone.